energy? How did we define energy, or how was it being defined by the presenter? Energy. Who presented energy? Kinsa man to? Sa group 1, wala na? Kinsa may nag-discuss sa topic nga energy? Wala? Hello, madunggan pa ko?
Yes, yes.
Okay, since wala naman mo nag-present, no? Wala na may presentation nga gihimo, so dili na siguro na ma-weak ang inyong mga kuan diha, data diha. Will you please open your video cam, all of you, para I can check also kung present pa gid mo or absent. Okay. Everybody, you open your video cam. So, Amahan, are you around? Where is Amahan?
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Oh, raise your hand lang para makita na ko. Okay, Amahan, where are you? Where is Amahan Maria Erica? Okay. Next, Arabes. Arabes. You open your video cam and then you raise your hand, or you can
Open na, miss.
asa naman ni si Arabes. I cannot see you.
I'm here, miss.
Ano, di man siya makita. Where are you, Arabes?
Nag-on cam na ko, miss.
I cannot see you here. So siguro gamay ra ning akong screen. Ano, di ba makita si Arabes? Argenti. Argenti. Cristelin.
Wala ko, miss.
Then, Batukan.
Miss.
Postilio. Caresosa. Caresosa. Okay. Then, Konag. Where is Konag? Asa naman si Konag?
Nag-raise na ko hand, miss.
Praise ka. Okay. Di man makita ka na, no? Sa kanang kuhan. Pila day mo ka po? 34. Okay, De Vera. De Vera. Where is De Vera? Absent. Eric Angelo De Vera. Not around. Okay, absent. Dulcie Tracy Shane. Dulcie. Are you around, Dulcie? Absent also. Duran, Jamaica Marie.
Present, miss.
Next, Egos. Egos Donna Marie.
Present, miss.
Islit Nicole Ann.
Present, miss.
Next, Paura or Paura. Paura Reynalyn.
Present, miss.
Then, Federicus Jessil.
Present, miss.
Next, Jabel. Is this Jabel Devrilet?
Yes, miss. Present.
Next, Jimenez Clarence.
Present, miss.
Then, Larayos Princess Anne.
Present, miss.
Team, Joanna Ket.
Present, miss.
Yamada Rapa Ilaigen. Where are you? Yamada Rapa Ilaigen. Absent. Okay, Macasero Angelica Bella.
Present, miss.
Can you open your video cam? Okay.
Nag-open ako, miss.
Okay. Then Montalvo Joseph.
Present, Miss.
Montalvo Joseph. Manalang is here, no? Manalang. Ruani Margaret.
Yes. Yes, Miss. Present, Miss.
Then Montalvo is here. Montalvo Joseph Jr.
Yes, Miss. Present.
Okay. Ortes Melvin Nick.
Present, Miss.
Then we have is this Pungautan or Pungautan?
Pungautan, Miss. Pungautan, Miss.
Okay. Pungautan Gia Erica. Then Restauro Angelica.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Rituerto Kim. Sarmiento Yancy Dominic.
Present, Miss.
Then Secretaria Fred Chilin. Secretaria Fred Chilin. Absent Secretaria.
Present, Miss.
Next, Somalino Jared.
Present, Miss.
Tanio Jessiril May.
Miss.
Then Tanio Mary Antoniette.
Present, Miss.
Then we have Ju Mariel. Is this Legan? Leghan. Leylan?
Leyan.
Leyan. So ang GH is read as Y. Leyan. So silent GH yan. Then Tribunalo Mary Ann. Okay, then Villanueva Jerome.
Present, Miss.
Where are you, Mr. Villanueva?
Raise na hand, Miss.
Okay. Sige, thank you. So, absent today are the following. Dulce, we have Di Vera, Eric Angelo, Dulce Tracy Shane, Yamada Rafa Ilaigen. So, there are 3 who are absent today.
Excuse me, Miss. Sorry ka nang ganina, Miss, ba? Si Rafa ni Miss. Ganina.
Karoon na ka nag-attend sa klase, Miss Yamada?
Miss, na ako sa gawas the whole time, Miss, kay tabangon nun, manggod akong papa, Miss, na siya ko ang sakit, Miss.
Unya?
Then, nigawas ko ganina kay kanang nangitag haplas akong mama, kay di makita ng haplas.
Excuse me, Miss. Natin additional na mo, Miss, nakauban, Miss. Vanessa Fe Diaz iyang name, Miss. Wala pa nimo matawag, Miss. Paano siya, Miss? Giapas, Miss. Late enrollee na, Miss. Or returnee.
So, meaning to say,
35
Wala.
namin tanong, Miss.
35. So, wala ni siya na-appear sa grupo.
Na-insert na nako siya, Miss, kay since March 31 man siya nakasold.
March 31. Was she able to attend during our orientation?
Wala pa siya na time, Miss, kay late ko na-inform ni Prof. John Paul.
So, ito yung
About Diaz.
Diaz?
Oh, Miss. I think na siya dire karon, Miss. Nisold man siya, Miss.
Oh, pero wala siya sa akong class list. Ganun wala man ni ma-corrected ang class list. Mr. Sumalino.
Send na ko og updated, Miss. Basta wala ra nimo makit-i, Miss. Ako lang i-send niya balik, Miss.
I-send ko og updated. Naka-send na ka, Mr. Sumalino. Kaya ako man yung gi-check ang class list niya. Maumay akong gi-open.
Akong gi-forward sa GC, Miss, ang bagong master list.
Karon
Kay
pa.
take ko ni dugay na, Miss. Dugay na,
When
Miss,
was
na.
that?
After sa March 31 nga date, Miss, na na-inform ko ni Sir JP.
March 31. Are you sure? Kay kani bago biya ni siya nako. Karon pa biya ni nako gi-print, Mr. Sumalino. Kani nga list of names. Karon pa ni nako na print. Just this morning. katunihon ko out sa kukadiyot, no? We will start at 9:15 kay nag-print ko. Nya kani diha ko manikita sa inyong GC. Wa man ko ni search atong layo kayo, wa man ko ni scroll ang kana mang kuan. And then you said na send mo unsa tong kuan na March pa. Then how come ang na-open ang kaniman?
Nakasend naman ko og una miss niya. Ni-send na po ko og balik og lain which is ang updated.
Yeah, without informing me nga kanang ma'am i-change ni kay dunay additional.
Ano ingon ko miss katong i-inform sa ko nimo nga okay na ba i-add si Vanessa Diaz sa kuan GC ani like ra man ka.
I will no longer print another one. Okay, 2 copies na ni siya. So I'll just write her name here. Sa iyang pangan, i-chat lang sa chat box para di ko masayo. Palihog lang ko sa chat box. So yung middle initial aning Vanessa EPHYS. What's the middle initial? And your ID number. Is Vanessa Diaz around?
Yes, miss.
I'm asking for your middle initial.
Sakaret, miss.
Ha?
Sakaret.
S.
Yes, miss.
Your ID number. Can I have your ID number, Miss Diaz?
Kuan, miss. 120. 120.
Type na lang.
Okay, type ko na po, miss.
One two zero four 383. Okay, napay laing concern para I can discuss na about work, energy, and power.
Miss, by the way, miss kanang 34 ra demi nga mo take sa imong unit miss kay si Dulce miss kay irregular siya niya. Ang kini nga subject is credited na sa iyang COR.
Credited na sa iyang
COR.
So kani si Duran.
Si Dulce miss.
Dulce.
Tracy Shane.
So meaning ako na ni siyang i-cross out from here.
Yes miss.
Cross out na ni si Dulce. So ilisa na to ni Diaz. Okay. So i-replace na nato si Diaz. Vanessa po. Replace this one here. Napay laing concern? Class? Before I will start, napay concern, paliw ko klarohon lang para dili ka mag-assume, no? concerns? How about you, Mayor? Any other concern para maklaro?
So far, miss, wala na, miss. Maura pang
Wala na. Klaro na tanan?
Yung,
Okay, so, pwede na mo mag-open sa inyong video cam because I'm going to start now with my discussion about work, energy, and power. Okay, so wala naman mo i-share, no? So meaning, makadaog na yun ang inyong data when you open your video cam. Ya, dili naman mo magtabi, maminaw naman ang... Okay, so, ang topic, the topic that was presented by Group 1 members is about work, energy, and power. So, isa tong reporter ganina, muto nangutan ako, how did you define energy? Isa man to'y presenter ganina. So we have, ang answers sa akong mga questions will be Eslit, Federicos, Darayos, Manalang, and Tanio. So whose report was about energy? Because I'm asking now, how do you define energy?
Miss, energy, miss, is the capacity to do work.
Okay, capacity or ability to do work. Okay, if I'm going to ask you, can you describe to me the physical appearance of energy? Can you give me its physical description? Miss Mary Antoinette? Because I really wanted to know, unsa kining energy, unsa may iyang itsura. No? So, can you give me its physical description? Your answer could be yes or no. Or anybody from this section, can you describe to me energy? Unsa man gyud iyang physical appearance anang energy? Give me its physical description. Unsa gyud ni siyang energy? Yes? Anybody? Yes.
Maybe potential or kinetic energy, miss.
So those are the types of energy. So what I mean here with physical description, pareharon let's say example, na amoy teacher ron na sa major subject ninyo. Kisa to inyong maestro, asa adto. So ang inyong pag-describe physical. Tsaka to bang among maestro nga taason, niya hingatawa, ginanabitaw mo na siya physical description, ang iyang physical appearance. So what about energy? Na siya physical appearance. So kung naamang gani, you give me its physical description. So anybody from the group to answer me? Wala? Anybody from this section? Magkahatag o physical description sa energy. Kaya ato din na siyang sabto, no? Kung sa gidaning energy, kaya sige kita gamit og energy, sige kita yaw-yaw about energy, and we can give its very simple meaning or definition. It is simply a capacity or ability to do work. So, unsa gyud ini siya? Energy. Ay idea? Any opinion? Coming from the rest? Because ang atong discussion dapat mo start from this, no? From this question. Para you should think deeply of unsa gini siyang energy. Kamo na amo dihi energy, it seems na wala, no? Wag tang inyong energy niya hasta ako matakdan ko wala sa koy energy. Sige, unsa maning energy? Anybody? What is energy then? Unsa man gid ni siya, unsa may itsura na ani siya itsura na ani siya dagway? Or Since nobody answer me, wa mo kasabot sa akong question. Sabtan akong question, class. Yes, katong ni raise sa hand. You can answer me.
Wala siya physical description, miss, ang energy.
Who answered me? Kani si Franklin,
Federico's, miss.
Federicos. Wala siya physical description. Okay, good. Ano wa man siya physical description? Ano sa kahi reason? Anybody? So you cannot give me an exact physical description of what really an energy is. That is correct. Very good answer. But the question is why? Nganong di man mo kahatag na akong physical description about energy? Nganong wala man siya physical description? So ikaduhang question. Para ma-arouse bitaw ang interest ngano di ganon simple ra man kay ng energy sige taghisgot og energy unya karon bitaw no nganong wa man siya physical description unsa may hinungdan why is it that it has no physical description for what reason? Anybody? Yes, Mr. Cortez.
I think it's because it is the idea only miss the ability of to do work. Mag-idea ra siya miss, dili siya makita ni mo through imong eyes.
Okay? So, meaning to say, energy for you can be intangible. Dili siya mahikap, dili siya makitaan, kay kuha na siya. It's not really idea, no, or nahuna lang sa tao, but it is really something. It is something or anything that can be used so that work can be performed. Diba? Kay these two, the energy and work are very much related to each other. So kung sa igsuon pa, kaluha na sila. Why? Kay dili man mag-perform ang trabaho kung wala kay energy nga gigamit pag-perform sa trabaho. So, they go hand in hand. It is also the reason why energy and work have the same units. Pareha silang unit plus. Because work cannot be done if there is no energy used in doing that work. And that is very true. So, na ubang mga tao diha, pagkan maglubog, nga imong inon nga, sige na, tindog na, kuha na dito, nga wagin siya mahimo. So, meaning di siya kalihok, wapoy energy. Diba? Na uban mo ingon, way energy. Yang uban gamika lang, no? Walay gihimo because wala sila'y energy. So, energy class in us, it is something that can let us be on the go. It can let us perform a certain task. Basta naa ka ana, maka-perform ka sa trabaho, maka-function ka, makalakaw ka, o makadagan pa ka, or maka-exercise ka, it means that you have energy in you. Mauna siya something in you na makapalihog nimo, na makapamove nimo, na makapa-perform nimo trabaho. And that is energy. And it cannot be described kung sa iyang itsura. Because each one of us has our way of how we are energized. So, it's not like a cell phone. Kaning cellphone, cellphone ro, no? Example, cellphone. Ma-energize din nato, panalitan lobat na ang cellphone. How can a cellphone be energized? Magkuha lang tag-charger, ato lang i-plug in sa 220 volt outlet, and then atong i-connect dito sa cellphone. So, after a while, ma-energize na ang cellphone. Magamit na ninyo. No? Kaya may tag-lobat na. But what about a person? How can you be energized? Okay, Miss Jendi. How can you be energized? Miss Jendi? Huwag kang si Miss Jendi. Okay, so arita ni Miss Jamaica. Saan magkapag-energize? How can you be energized nga ma-revitalize mo? Ikaw?
Para sa ako, miss, kay matulog, miss.
Matulog. So, inigbanta ni mo, energize na ka, ganado na kay kamo trabaho, no? Na kay energy. is Jamaica, right? Okay, but there are those persons na gikan nagmata, gikan ba siya natuba niya ni mata, pag-upang ni mata, niya mga, hi, kalaay, wala siya na energize sa iyang pagkatog. May uban inana, no? So it really depends upon us kung saan ta pag-energize, no? How about you, Mary Antoinette? How can you be energized?
Mukaon, Miss.
Mukaon. Okay. So, for you, ang food is your source of energy. Okay? So, that's good. Yeah, how about you, Mr. Jared?
Exercise, miss.
Exercise. Sa ito pa physically fit kay kano kay sikag workout, hindi ko man mo workout after warm up na energized na ka. How about you, Mr. Melvin? Saan makapag-energize?
Play og sports, miss.
So sports minded na ganing usa, no? Grabe sports, grabe ang sports. So ini kumani mo duwa, ganado na kay kamo trabaho. Kasi inigabot sa inyo gikan kang duwa may kapoy, pamaulan ko. At least, no? Na-energize ka by doing some sports. How about you, Mr. Kim? So ang pagkapag-energize? Yes, Mr. Ricardo.
Dua games, miss.
Ha?
Games.
Karat man, ano imong audio dong? Okay, naiubaw? Yes? Good siya, di maklaro, no, Mr. Kim? So, naiuban nga ma-energize sila by simply what? Meditating. Yang uban may yun, mag-yoga ko ma. Naiuban, igo lang mo rest. You sit back, you relax, then for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, after that, ma-energize na ka. No, ni-relax lang ka. So, ang uban matug, yun matug, ang uban mo kaon, ang uban saan mag-exercise, gawa og sports, e nasa uban ma-energize sila nga, laay magkayko, matug ko sa syudad, matug ko mall, mag-shopping. Hindi ko mag-shopping nga mamalit, mag-window shopping lang, awa na-energize na, no? Na nasa uban, sayo lang kayo, maatulag kasilinganan, magmarites lang, ma-energize na dayon. Nagmarites lang sila, no? Yan, so may partner ni Marites, kung lalaki, Marito. Diba? Marites ang babae. Yan, ang lalaki, ato na sa nganag Marito. Buntag pang sayo, ato nagkasilinganan, magsige na o chismis. Diba? Yan, mo na ilang energizer of the day. Nayubang inana mga tao. Na nayuban, maguna-una lang sa ilang crush. No? Or sa ilang loved ones, awa na-energize na dayon. Ilang morning. Ang uban sa inigbangon, instead of praying, dito lang tanaw sa ilang kaning ilang gadget, sa ilang cellphone. Kunya tanaw lang TikTok. Sige balik-balik, no? Sige tanaw ang mga nagsayaw-sayaw nga kita mga bilbil. Na-energize na sa dayon, lingaw na sa kayo, di ba? So, each one of us has our own way. Klaro, dyan kayo sa nanginanaw kayo sa TikTok, okay, nangatawa na yun. Ni-react na yun. Ako bago ko kung nitanaw na kung sa ginang TikTok, okay, ako kasabot sa ng TikTok. But, di ba ang TikTok plus, mauma na siya ang, kuha na siya, dili sa na siya apps, no? Muna siya, Chinese ana ang naghatag, di ba? So, sa pagkahinanaw, TikTok sa mga tao, nadato ang China. Hinila man na, no? Somebody nga, yatagana, right? Excuse me for a while. Okay. So, as I have said, energy, mauna siya ang cause, mo'y gamito nun. Ang work is the effect. So, the reason why they have the same units, because the amount of work that is done is equivalent to the amount of energy that is used in doing that work. So, they are very much related to each other. Now, what about power? So, kung ang energy magsuon ug ang work, ang power ilan ang igagaw. Because ang power is just the gikusgon. So, speaking of rate, it always involves time. No? So, whatever the quantity, i-divide yun na by time because we are referring to gikusgon. Speed is gikusgon. Current is gikusgon. Power is gikusgon. Ang speed, ang gikusgon sa object nga ni cover of distance. Okay. Ang gikusgon sa object sa pag-cover niya distance. And that is over time. Current, ang gikusgon sa electrons pag-move through the conductor. So, ang gikusgon sa pag-flow sa electrons inside the conductor. Power, ang gikusgon sa pag-perform sa trabaho. Ang gikusgon sa pag-consume sa energy in doing that work. Okay, so na, musay ta og example. Ang work, when it comes to power, dunay pareha og amount of work. Pero mo differ sila in power because of the gikusgon pag-perform sa work or pag-consume sa energy. So let's say, dunay gipatrabaho nimo. One person can do the work in only 1 hour. Okay, that's the one. So, masolve ang iyang power. So, power is the work done divided by the time. And 1 hour. Over 1 hour. But, the same work is being done after 2 hours. So, pareha ang gihapon sila, no? Ang work na perform, maurag gihapon. Pero, in how many hours was the work being performed? In 2 hours. So, for sure, kaya ang usa na performan ang work in 1 hour, and then ang usa na perform ang work in 2 hours, it means nakatong work nga na-perform in 1 hour, mas paspas siyang motrabaho. Di ba? Nakuha ninyo ang logic class, mas paspas siyang motrabaho. Kaya gi-perform niya ang trabaho in only 1 hour. Pero ang usa masinay siya mo trabaho because he performed the work in 2 hours. So, ni-differ sila in time, of which the shorter the time spent, the greater the work or the greater the power. Do you follow? But the same work has been done. Only ni-differ sila, mas paspas ang usa. So, meaning to say, power refers to gipaspason or gikusgon. It is speed. Current, speed, and power mean gikusgon. So, power sa pag-perform sa trabaho, paspas kayo. Power sa pagkonsumo sa energy in doing that work. So, it is just like what? Are you familiar with the term chariot? Chariot, kanang jeepney bitaw nga daghang kay dekorasyon yan ay mga kabayo. Kanang unang panahon, chariot kanang jeepney sa made in Luzon, I think. Niya mao na Filipino symbol sa atong jeepney, chariot. So, before na agi moingon nga grabe kaning chariot oy power kay karsada. So, ang gipasabot anak kusog kay siya mudagan, paspas kay siya. Mao na power. Na nasa uban moingon nga kani nga carpenter, kani nga panday, when it comes to carpentry, power kay ni siya. Kay kusog kay siya mo gamit sa iyang martilyo, kusog kay mo dukdok no, sa lansa. So, power kaayo. Nasa uban power kaayo in the kitchen. Why? Because yun, grabe yan. Sa anin niya, oy, power man kay ni siya sa kusina. Grabe man ni siya mukhaon. Di man usap-usapon. Ritso magtuon. So, power kay, no? Pas-pas na may mga tao nga inaanak. Nas no nga. Di sila ganahan nga usapon ang foods. Ditsuon lang gani. Kausara mo usap. Ditso na lang, no? Pas-pas kay may bungka. Mana ka? Kadali ragod. Wa pa mapugato nga. Alaing kaayo kon atong hinahinayon murag mo bigli. So may nang paspason. So meaning to say power kay siya. Power kay siya mo dao no paspas. So it means gikusgon. Mao na siya ang power. So these three terms, energy, work, and power are related to each other. Now kaning energy, naa ni siya duha ka klase no aside from others. Kaning type lang gyud niya, the potential energy and the kinetic energy. And kinetic energy can be acquired when the object is in motion. So you can only measure the kinetic energy of an object if the object is in motion. While the potential energy can be measured and it can be acquired when the object is at rest but napay-sumpay with respect to its configuration or with respect to its original position. So let's say, kanirong coin purse. I'm going to place this one on the tabletop. Okay, butang nato ang coin purse sa tabletop. Okay, so ato ibutang. Now, pwede ta mo solve og duha ani, potential energy and work. Pero later na lang ang work. So potential energy. If the coin force or if this object is being placed on the tabletop, it is at rest. Ang question, can this object, can it have potential energy now because the object is at rest? What should be our answer? Yes or no? Does this object have potential energy? I place this one on the tabletop and the object now is at rest. Does it have potential energy?
No.
No. Why? Even if the object is at rest, it doesn't have potential energy. So that is a good answer. It is because napamay sumpay sa iyang definition. No nga, it is an energy acquired by the object when the object is at rest with respect to its original position or reference point or configuration. So, when can this object have potential energy? The moment ato siyang iisa. If we are going to lift this object, kung yung lift atong iisa, hoist this object, H-O-I-S-T, imong ipaisa or ipasaka, raise this object, maorgya pag iisa or isaka, di ba? So, the moment you are going to lift this object to a certain height above the table, so in lifting or while lifting, so during the lifting time, maka-acquire siya kinetic energy because it is moving. Okay, now, atong pahunungon. So, this is now the time the object can acquire, can possess potential energy because it is being lifted to a certain height. Pero during the time na naglift pa ka, kinetic imong masod kay motion pa man, so imo sa gyud siyang pahunungon to a certain height para masolve nimo ang potential energy. Because what is potential energy? The force times, it is the product of the force times the height to which the object is being raised. So what should be its force? Ang force niya mao nang imong pag-alsa. Kung dili ihatag ang force and you don't have force sensor to measure the force applied to it, so you better consider its weight. Yaon sa may weight ana niya, wa sa gihatag. Pero this has the mass and the g. It has the mass and the g. So mass of the object times gravitational acceleration, it will give us the weight. And the weight of the object directed downward is just equivalent to the force needed for the object to be lifted upward. Do you follow? So, pahulungan sa nimo, makasolve na ka og potential energy. Because it has to be raised to a certain height above the reference point. Ang question is, what if instead of lifting the object above the table, I am going to place the object below the table or underneath the table? Question, does this object acquire potential energy or does this object have potential energy? Okay, instead of placing it to a certain height, I place the object underneath the table. So, answer. Naa siya potential energy? Wala. Nobody? Asa naman tong discuss about aning mga potential energy? So, mao ni inyong mga kuwang, no? Wala pa gyud na klaro ni hatag na lang mo dito sa problem without what? Understanding the theory behind it. Okay, the answer is yes, it will still acquire potential energy, but the answer is negative. Yeah, so when it comes to magnitude, walay negative magnitude. Ang atong gimin aning negative because the object is below the reference point. And what is our reference point? Where is it? It is the tabletop. Yan naman siya sa ubos. So, kanang negative nag-indicate og direction na the object is located below the reference point, not above the reference point. Okay? So, that is potential and kinetic niya. Kanang pendulum bob. No, mag-inaana na. Kung naa diha, wala pa'y potential energy, wala pa'y kinetic. Kung imo na siyang iswing to the other side, kana mag-swing na, in going upward, nag-anam o kadako ang iyang potential energy. Kay taas naman ang height with respect sa equilibrium niya. Mubalik mo swing, nag-abot sa ubos, mo na pinakakusog, maximum kinetic energy, zero potential energy niya. Inig-swing dito, nasa na siya maximum potential energy, minimum kinetic energy. So, it will be shown with the pendulum na mag-swing, no? To each side. So, here. Now, what about this energy? Kung saan man siya? Kung sa'y gamit ani niya para maka-perform ka trabaho. And diba, there are 3 factors na atong i-consider sa tulusad kahutong sa edad. Young, adult or middle age, and old age. So, tulo kabog ang atong makonsider. Ang energy, ang money, ang time. Kung young pa, very, especially mga children pa, naa sila'y tanang energy. Gamay na lang ilang time, pero wa sila'y money. Kaya nagsalit pa mga parents, di ba? Pero ang mga middle age nga, usually nag-work na, ang naa nila is ang what?
Money.
Time. They have all the wala sila time kay sige sila trabaho, but they have the money because they are working. Naslay magamit. They have the energy, pero mas daghan ang ilang kwarta kaysa energy. No? Not like the children. Pero ang ilang time is lesser because they are working in order to gain money to support the family. Now, here comes old age na. Sa old age, nanaginay kwarta. Why? They have all the time. Kay, retired naman, mga retirees na. They have the money, kay mga pensionado naman. But they don't have the energy. So, naagyod sa mga different stages in life nga naag na madaghan aniwa sa kaaring. O bitaw na ang uban kani adto no daghan man mi ana din. Limitado ang sudan kay daghan man mi mga on daghan magbahin. Karon na noon nga nanakoy daghang kwarta ikapalit, di na sa ko pwede mo kaog daghan kay HB na to. So inana no, at least naagyoy limit, naagyoy mga restrictions. So when we say energy class, as I have said, di gina nato ma-describe. Unsa may mga reasons nganong di gid ma-describe? Because it can exist in several forms. Unsa man nga mga forma, the general forms are chemical form, pwede siya mo exist in a chemical form. Pwede siya mo exist in mechanical form. Pwede mo exist in electrical form, or pwede mo exist in radiant form. Namingon na, ma'am, kana ding heat energy, kana ding light energy, nabilong na sila sa radiant form. Kana ding sound, o specific na, dili na general. And this transformation of energy class, because we have this law na energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So it is the law of conservation of energy. But it can only be transformed from one form to another form. Yes, that is very true. And the transformation is a reversible process. It is just like a cycle. But it doesn't mean nga, so mo na reason ha, magtungod kay mo exist siya in different forms. Muna di nakahatag og description. Aside from that, mo exist siya in different phases of matter. So pwede siya liquid, pwede siya solid, pwede siya og gas, pwede siya plasma state. So the best example for this is kanang naa sa vehicle, sakyanan ron ibutang tag-auto, a car, a vehicle. Imo nang gamitan og fuel, sa may fuel ana, chemical form. It's either gasolina or gasoline. Unsa man nga state of matter or phase of matter? Di ba liquid? Ang oil class, ang fuel? Gasoline, is it not liquid? Gasolina, unsa man ang gasolina, solid na or gas? State. So chemical form liquid state. Imo nang isod sa gasolinahan. Nya pandaron ang engine. So you are transforming the chemical form kay na-use up naman to. Pero di man siya ma-create ang energy. Di sad ma-destroy based sa iyang law of conservation. So na-consume to siya. Pero wala siya na-destroy kung dili ni transform siya into mechanical form. Kay imo namang gipaandar ang engine. Now connected na yung mga wirings. Ya, imo nang i-connect dito sa electric fan, ito sa horn, sa businador, dito sa light, dito sa aircon. So, what will happen to your mechanical form? Na-transform siya into electrical form. Ya, pag mag-transform into electrical form, nibalik siya sa mechanical form kung mugamit kag electric fan. Or maybe ang imong aircon. Mugamit ka sa busina, nahimo siyang sound, no? Energy. Then, mugamit ka sa light, na-converted siya into radiant form of energy. But take note, napag yun ay mugawa sa imong karbonador ba na siya? Karburador or tambutso ang ana. So may nyo makitaan nga mugawa sa tambutso class. Ha? So, smoke, di ba? Smoke. So, gikan sa chemical form, then mechanical, electrical, back to mechanical, then to radiant, then to chemical again. Ibalik siya chemical form. So, ang transformation of energy is from one form to another form, but it is a cycle, reversible process, kaya mabalik naman siya chemical form. But the question is, ibalik ba siya sa iyang liquid state of matter? Yes or no? Wala. Diba? Asa naman siya? Unsa man ang smoke? Gaseous state of matter. And then, take note, unsa man ang smoke? Pollution. So, man cannot create nor destroy energy. But, he can only transform energy from one form to another form. And the usual end product or byproduct of its transformation is pollution. O nang i-consider ta nga, man is the most destructive animal on earth. And I believe that one. Kaya ang mga mananap, kung imong i-consider, igo naman na sila mo pagawa sa ilang hugaw. Yung kanang ilang hugaw kung mapundo kay way mo hipos, mo fume raman na into methane gas. Pero ang tao sa iyang pagsigig transform, kargado yun ang iyang ma-produce is CO2. Muna na daghan ron in the atmosphere nga nakakause of greenhouse effect, nakakause of global warming, nakakause of climate change. But actually, class kaning climate change, this can be natural occurrence and this can be by human activities. Pero mas grabe yun ang human activities. So, munang as much as possible, ilimit na natong burning of fossil fuel. Kanang fossil kanang mga fuel nga atong gipanggamit para panggasolina. So, na-impress kay ko aning Elon Musk na nihimo siya aning mga electric cars. Kay dili man na, wa man ay fossil fuel nga imong sunugon, wa man ay gasolina mga gamit kay electric cars good. So that is very impressive, no? Kay he was able to what? To lessen or minimize the pollution. But the problem is, palit ra ba tanan, no? Puro gipakyaw sa China kay mag-afford naman ng China og electric car. Pero wala sad ko na impress anang iyang sigig palupad o rocket ship or spaceship. Why? Because it really needs a great amount, a tremendous amount of energy. Awa ko nakakita pa mo spaceship or rocket ship na ipalupad. Ako nakakita ko sa TV ra, no? Or sa movie. Di ba magkayo man na class? Grabbing kayo. So, you are converting your energy used up into heat energy. And that is pollution. That is pollution. So, now, it is what? Dili maayo. Kay pollutant siya. Daghan siya ipalupad. Pero na naman kuno siya, naman ito yung one nga article nga ilang, they are doing everything in such a way nga, instead of using this kind of energy in order for the spaceship to launch into outer space, na ilan na ng ikuan para nag-study na sila para ma-limit, no, ma-lessen or ma-minimize ang pollution. So sa work, going to work, so mauna siya, reversible process ang law of conservation of energy. And speaking of work, naatay mga requirements which were not able to which were not being able, no, or which were not presented by these presenters, especially the concept. Work has two equations. work W is equal to F dot D, the dot product of force, a vector quantity, and displacement, another vector quantity. So, mao na yung usa ka equation. But what if, and these two, the force and the displacement must be parallel to each other. And if force and displacement are of the same direction, work done is positive. But if these two are in opposite direction, the direction and the force applied, then work is negative. But there is still work. But the negative sign there refers only to the direction that is opposite. Now, what if the force applied to the object is not parallel with the displacement? Palidunay angle ni nana. Adungrong object dito, mao ni ang force applied, mao ni ang object niya, yan displacement niya, nay angle. So, another equation for work is W equals F dot D cosine of theta. But be sure nga ang angle between the force applied and the displacement should not be 90 degrees. Because if it will be 90 degrees, what is cosine of 90 degrees? It is equal to 0. So 0 multiplied by any value, work done is equal to 0. So you were not able to present a situation in which work done is equal to 0. Wala na ninyo, no? Muna'y nakuwang ninyo. Na siya. So, mag-hold lang mo object above the floor, yan amoy gi-exert ka force upward, 0 ang work ana, kaya wa may displacement sa object. Kung mulakaw mo holding the object, so ang displacement is 90 degrees with the force applied, upward force, 0 lang gihapon ang work done. Okay, so next meeting, okay, it's almost 12 now. By next meeting class, it will be the presentation of group 2 and group 3. Pero mag-ready na lang sa dana ang group 4 just in case no na ay usa ka group nga dili. So group 4 and group 5 mag-ready lang or everybody should be ready lang just in case no kay para ma-patch upan ang atong time. So thank you for the presentation this morning. Then thank you for listening also. We are going to continue next meeting with the reports of group 2 and group 3. Okay, any concern? So paliw kung doon ay concern, i-kuha lang ninyo sa atong GC class. Okay, thank you everyone. Happy taking your lunch.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Take our lunch
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you.
Miss.
Para ma-energize ka.
Thank you, Miss.